Very good evening. A very good evening to each and every one of you. How y'all doing tonight, folks? Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button as well. Please and thank you. How are you guys doing this evening? Great to be here with each and every one of you. Happy to have you all here with us, folks. Just came out of a campaign meeting. I feel so energized. I feel so fired up. I feel so ready to go, and as if I am in the right place. I know that I'm in the right place. I make a bad choice at all. How y'all doing? Pam Halls and Glycis and Lyndon and Sheena and Cara and all the other folks. Yeah, Cara, yes, you. It's one Cara we got in live right now. Anne and Jean and Kwana. Good to see you, Kwana, Michelle, Anthony. Good to have all of you on the live with us. How y'all doing, my friends? How y'all doing? Good to see you, Marvel Schwartz, lovely Lily. Andrew Griffith is on the live. John and Joggy, no doubt, tune in as well. Good to have all of you folks. Where have you joining us from? Good to see all of you all here. Stop. Good to see all of you all here. How y'all doing, man? Please and thank you. The PPP. The PPP. You just hear that, you know the whole thing. You don't tell me them boys thrown out, Mark. All you tell us, them boys are dashing out. Dashing out, Mark. Oh, yes. You don't know? Well, now you know. Folks, my Lord. Yeah, barely got to know Mark a couple of days now. Barely got to know the rubber stamp. And Mark is going already. This is what the folks are telling us deep inside. Listen for the announcement. I hope they ain't get shame and backpedal. I hope they ain't get shame and backpedal now. That's all I'm hoping. They ain't get shame. You know how the story go. This we hear. Folks, them boys in trouble, you know. PP. They're a little bit pickle. I'll tell you that. We hear a number of things when these elections are concerned. You all know by now, if Ali has made the announcement September 1, 2025 general and regional elections, but it's not cast in stone as yet. It is not cast in stone as yet, folks. I'm teaching tonight. Get notepads. I'm teaching. It's not cast in stone. And then we haven't had the proclamation as yet. That is what sets the real date for election. And then they have not dissolved the parliament. All of those are signs. We're watching. The guys are testing the waters, testing the temperature to see what it is before they make a final decision. And we're told that with all that is happening, all of these scandals, all of these setbacks, the road, East Coast, to Ogle to Eccles, that road, 30% of the project has really been completed, and they've already paid 3 times the cost. Fantastic article on credible sources. Check our page, David Patterson, out of the Alliance for Change, Chairman of the Alliance for Change. making the arguments 3 times the cost and for less than what Apple was going to do overall for that project. You all know that project did not originate on the PPP. Did not. The whole thing today, the whole thing. Check the Credible Source Facebook page, and you can get it live and direct. So, but we're hearing, in spite of all that's happening, there are some in the PPP that who want to push this election back because they need a breathing room. Actually, they're in the tail, not in the backside. They need a breathing room. You see? And they need to complete some of what they deem to be legacy projects. So they need a breathing room. But, you know, all lions sensing their end, Jack Dale, all lions sensing their end, they are the firstest. So he won this election now. He don't want Norton to get to full strength. Norton right now at 90, 85, 90. He doesn't want Norton to get to full strength. And he does not want Asruddin to creep up on the flank. So, folks, they need a game changer. They got the low energy Mark Phillips, rubber stamp Mark Phillips, and he's weighing them down. They got to cut some baggage. You got a young and energetic Asruddin Mohammed, and energized Charity Finance, young as well. You got to get some folks who can match them. And you know Mark, Mark got his 2 left foot, you know, and he's put on a little bit too. He can't do the job. And so they got to get something. They need a game changer. And folks are saying, Mark, he's going to have to take the ball. Y'all think we don't know what's happening? That's what they're telling us. Mark, he can be the sacrificial lamb. Watch for it. They need a game changer. And of course, they got to get the ethnic balance for the ticket. Enter. Enter the goodly bishops. A lot of problem with he too. But he's not sluggish. He's not lethargic like your boy. Right. They need that balance for the optics, you see. For the optics, they need a balance. So right now we're watching to see where they're going. And I'll tell you what. We know what the problem is. Take him a time and going. We know what the problem is. What is the aim? What is the objectives? We know it. You know, some of y'all out here. Y'all think people shooting blind, you know. Y'all think y'all now come and invent this thing named politics. You know, as if one fellow that endorsed them said, politics. And he know the whole thing top to bottom. He know the whole thing. He studied it top to bottom. He said politics is all in the name of the game. You know, call it as it is. Politics, he said. How y'all doing tonight? So folks, some of what we're following, right? Some of what we're following here. At this end, we're watching it, studying it, you know, see where it goes, see what lies beneath. And then we can know what is to come. But it's a lot. I'll give you that. It is a lot that's happening on this front. And what are we going to do? Mark in trouble. You know, feel it for Mark. Feel it for Mark. You know, he put the best 2 left foot forward and he come up with nothing. And just like that, Bishop says, me time. I come with y'all from what was it? Ethnic Relations Commission. I come up with y'all. Mark come from Norway. Bishop says payback time. It's payback now. We were made to understand, you know, back channels. So Mark was shocked, livid. I think the person said, what's the word again? Blindsided. Like if you lash with a 22, suddenly you came upon him. You know, the good book says, lay hands on no man suddenly. All right. Mark apparently said this was like a 22. A jumbie lash, suddenly. Yeah, blindsided. Right? But we're watching it because now that we know, yeah, keep Mark, man. You keep Mark. We like Mark. Keep Mark. But I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to get somewhere to what this is all about. I'm telling you, why they're so worried. They're worried for style, you know. They're worried for real, not play. Real worry out here. They're worried, and I'll show you why they're worried because, as I said, if they wait too long, they know everything is not well. This bridge got to finish, may not finish for the end of August, I think August 31st. I returned 1 day in August. You remind me. And then elections the next day. If it's not completed, they want that up on the billboards. Promise delivered bridge conceptualized on the APNU AFC. Studies done on the APNU AFC. They don't care. Remember them as the project teams. They want this bridge and billboard. They want this road falling apart or not. You know, 3 times the cost or not on a billboard. They're willing to sacrifice the gas to shore. They ain't going no place in a hurry. As a matter of fact, they're sucking up more money now like guys. So we told y'all, dead in the water. Not a white elephant. Dead in the water. But I want to show y'all what is really happening out here, folks. What is really at play out here. They can be outflanked. And that is why all of these confabulations and permutations, you see them permutations, you see them conjuring up. You know, Mark is a lot of weight. Sorry, Mark. I ain't talking body shaming weight, but it's political weight, and they gotta cut him loose. You see, the bishop in this thing long. I know the bishop, a lot of folks said he's arrogant. Right? A lot of folks he's arrogant, he like talk down to people and so on. Right? People could live with that. He's a little nimble on his feet, you see, from being in the pulpit all of these years. The bishop is a little nimble on his feet, unlike Mark. See, Mark is sit down and command. You see Mark on the ground. You see Mark walking around and so on. No. So though the bishop, the elevator meeting it up flow like it used to, and it's more little nimble on his feet, you see. But let me show you how if they take too long with this election, they can be outflanked. You take too long, you know we say in the streets, cat eat your dinner. You take too long, cat eat your dinner. And so this is what they're watching. This is what they're really watching. What you're seeing here is in the quarantine. The little upstart Ashruddin Mohammed in the PPP heartland, the quarantine. And you know they got 1 and 2 Afro-Guyanese villages in the quarantine. This wasn't there. This was heartland. And this is what they're worried about. This is what they're watching. If they allow this to galvanize, they give Ashruddin too much time to put an organization in place. He's lacking an organization now. He got a semblance of it. If they allow him to put organization in place, they're going to, folks, reckoning, a PPP reckoning, the likes of which they've never seen before in the history of the PPP. A reckoning. And let me tell you this, hold on. Bring us back valid, credible information. We busted them down tonight. So Jabdia, we've been told, 1 elections now, but the majority saying whole, stay in a holding pattern. As a matter of fact, we were told a high level PPP executive told their campaign committee, the re-election committee, I want to get it quote right. If we hold election now, right? Let me get it right. If we hold election now, we dead, quote unquote. We hold election now, we dead. Now, y'all know Jack New in charge of this whole thing. So even though this individual high up, right up, I don't think that can be persuasive because if Jagdish said election is now, it's now. But of course, Ali wants a second term. So he wants to be a little more cautious. I ain't says Ali make the statement. I says a high level. Don't put words in my mouth. I ain't talking about the water in my mouth. High level official. If you hold elections now, we dead. That was the quote. Because here's why. Here's the crux. Remember I tell you all, Answering coming up on the front heartland in the PPP, on the quarantine for the PPP. So this year is something that they're watching. So watch this now. We're being told the internal polls in the PPP, you know the polls in there far long. Jagdio poll far long. The other one, what's his name? Charles Paul Farlong Ramson. Yeah, y'all remember the Paul Farlong home stretching in South? It's their polls. Polls fall down very quickly, but this poll here now, different poll, internal poll in the PPP, it puts the options at 45%. Do they risk it? Believing that they can bridge that 51% in a couple of weeks. This is what their internal poll is showing. Right? Could the poll be wrong? Could it be 10%? Do they risk it all? Is Jagdio that kind of gambler? That is what the big contention is about. And hence the need for a game changer. You can't go with 45%, 44, 43% and thinking you could get across the finish line if you got some weights like Phillips. And so they need a little momentum back, a little wind in the sail. And that's why we're hearing of this possible switch up here now with the Bishop. The internal polls put them somewhere around 45%. Now, they know from experience, you also got to take them a time and peel them a pint. They know from experience, because they've lived through 2010. You all remember that? Minority government. They don't want that. They're trying to come out from under the shadow of that asterisk. You see, installed regime. They're trying to come out from that. So they know the last thing they want is another asterisk now of a minority government. You see, they want to come out now to the APNU coalition and try to get support from us to pass budgets and so on. No. They don't want us telling them how to spend your largesse. Not their own. They're pretending money is their own. So they want 51% at least. You see, you all notice all this talk of landslide gone? You all realize all this big bluster about landslide. You can't get landslide like that, folks. What nonsense you talking, Jagdio? You can't get landslide like that if people coming up on your flank and coming up strong. So this is what they're watching. And there were several stops today looking almost identical on the quarantine. Listen to me. I'd give it to Azridan for balls. Balls more than birdness. The man got the kahunas. The man got the kahunas. He got right in the front door, kick it in. This is the Kwame style back door. Right in the front door, kick it in. Kick in the front door. Kick it. He bought it up, you know. But this is what you got upstart. Young upstart. They know if they give him time, they might see power gain in 50 years. 50 years. So that is what they're trying to head off. Watching at the poll numbers for the 5%. Will you risk it all? When people telling you, whole election now, you're dead. You're dead in your boots. Man on the quarantine. Several stops in the heartland. Now they're considering to push back election because, as I said, they need that. They need a breathing space. They need a breathing space, folks. They need a breathing space. I'm about to show you how desperate them boys there. Desperation. Badly. You're going to risk it all? So considering now, we haven't provoked Parliament, not provoked, they haven't dissolved Parliament as yet. Two different concepts. Right? We haven't made a proclamation, the election proclamation, which will do two things. Set the official date for the election. Watch me now. Set the official date for the election and dissolve the National Assembly. Right? When that happens, you're on a collision course now with an election day. Good, bad, or indifferent. You're on a collision course. No turning back now. They got the space because those things have not been done. Pushing back. We're watching it. The last time this has been done was 1992. And they had political consensus. They had the political will to do it, to get a couple of things done. They wanted to reform GCOM and get a clean list among some other things. No. If 1992 is a harbinger of things to come, you know when an election in 1992 was pushed back for 2 years? That election was pushed back. 2 years that election was pushed back. Folks, there was a change of government. So, push back election, if they're going by that historical example, so you could understand the trepidation of a Jagyu to want this election now. Want this election now. Will Irfan gamble it? And does he think he has enough time he could put on another red jacket and walk and whine and catch banter a little bit and hopefully blunt the momentum of the APNU coalition? Is he going to do it? They're not too worried about Azruddin Mohammed becoming president. What they are worried about is if he eats into the base and allow the APNU coalition to come through. That is the big worry, folks. That is the big worry. And that is why you see them doing all kind of silly and dotish and foolishness. Like, for instance, in Barakara. Now, if you've been watching us, you know the APNU coalition was in Barakara a couple of weeks ago. This is just a cross-section of the audience there. You would say, what is the word? An ensemble of the audience there in Barakara. You know, an ensemble of the channel there. Right? And they listened to the concerns that we ventilated. The folks, the beautiful people there in Barakara, this lovely community in the Kanji River, beautiful people there, so warm-hearted and welcoming. Oh, they give the presidential candidate of the APNU coalition and the prime ministerial candidate, Mr. Norton and Fernand, respectively, a very, very warm and hearty welcome. Well, y'all not people like that. They don't like that. So them boys running. Running today. Running today. And again, because they're so desperate, folks, because they're so desperate, they're doing nonsense. All you hear? They're doing a pack of nonsense. Like going to this school, canceling school for the day. You send your kids to school, you go on to the farm, minding your own business, day shop, cancel school, get a chair and stand up outside. What kind of madness, good folks, happening in this country? What kind of foolishness happening in this country? Where are we going with some of this stuff? And then not only did the kids have to stand outside, could you imagine you send your kids to school, and then somebody gonna proceed to dress them in campaign paraphernalia? I thought we had some lines in this thing here we wouldn't cross. Right? Now we can leave kids out of big people's story. What's the matter with these people? You see desperation? Right? Have we seen this movie before? You see using kids to pat an audience to make the thing look enough and plenty? Yeah? We showed you that in the interior quite recently. We gotta watch these folks. They are desperate for the optics. So when you look at this picture here, right? Jesus, just concede. They don't lose this election. When you look at this audience here, you see a lot of red. But when you really look, you put on your glasses, you put on your 4 eyes, and you look, you see a lot of kids. And they got no shame, you know. They cancel school so that kids can come and sit down and listen to them. Who want to listen to boring Zulfikar Mustafa talk nonsense? Who want to listen to him? I for one don't want to listen to him. He barely big house, 5 years in government. He barely big house in Region 6, rivaling the Ambanis in India, the richest family in India. His house rivaling theirs. Right? Rivaling the Ambanis in India. Nobody want to listen to him. Go and tend your big 10-acre farm. Not your farm, your 10-acre garden, rather. If your garden is 10 acres, you know it's your farm. Cancel schools. Children stand up outside. You at the farm. You don't know your kids outside in some place. These jagglebats and trench crappos, they inside talking a bunch of nonsense. Right? So you got that to deal with. And then you got the fact now, as I said, they can throw on the crossing paraphernalia on your kids. Right? They can throw on the crossing paraphernalia on your kids. Folks, how y'all feel about them things? Make it make sense. Huh? Make it make sense. Y'all better let people children. Don't cut where you can't fetch. You can tell me send me child to school. And then I see in photographs on social media. Right? We are telling me some nonsense. Huh? We are telling me some foolishness. You gotta go some. Look, folks, sometimes you gotta go some way for some people, you know. Because these people take it eyes and pass me. You gotta go some way for some people. Let them know the order. Right? Stop this nonsense. Some people went Guadeloupe. Suriname for them. You see, some of them getting tin. They can't help it, you know. They're shedding everything. Leave people, kids out of nonsense. Please and thank you. Look so real. Might as well wrap these kids in that shitty t-shirts. Big. Leave. Father have his mercies. Father have his mercy. Look at these people look confused. They know what's happening here though. What's all this crossing? I sure there's a run through the bay. What's all this crossing? In the school, we were there. We stayed in the under shed by a health center. We ain't gonna take over the health center, dismiss school. You know, kids gone swimming, the parents in the farm, they know the kids outside. Then when you see you cheering in red like this, you send them to school. Iron. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You say you change the school, Diane, Iban, Sister Mercy, and you see photographs on social media, you kids in red. How they telling you sorry? How they tell? See. Help me to say the right things, Father. And don't become a distraction. Help me to say the right words. You know these people is, Father's mercy. Some words spinning around in my head to really listen to me. At the front page tomorrow, Kaitro News, you know. Front page. If you're bad with them tonight, front. Let people cheering out your nonsense. But as I said to you, Mr. Norton team, Warren Barakara, and now these follow me, running in now with the nonsense, folks. Running there the foolishness. You could imagine you still talking about this and that and some things you could have solved long ago. Billions of dollars now, $1 trillion economy. And you still talking, Oh, we can do something that you could have done if you really care. Click of a finger. You know? Here's some of what Mr. Norton told me on the sidelines of that visit to Baracara a week ago. And then the PPPC are now running there. Follow me. Have a program, work your own program now. You just watch what somebody do. You think any projects we had there. You think any plans. You're unsatisfied with that. And that's why sometimes you gotta rub out your steps, you know. Take a look and take a listen. Some of what Mr. Norton told me, the leader of the APNU coalition, Aubrey Norton. Take a look and take a listen.
It does appear that they need a lot of assistance, especially in the area of agriculture. They're also concerned that they are producing sportsmen and there isn't the kind of support for them. For that reason, I told them that on Friday gone, we stated very clear that all sportsmen who arrive at the national level, we will ensure they are sponsored, meaning they have the resources to take part. And we also talk about giving our national sportsmen a livable income so that they can benefit from the oil resources. We made it very clear to them that we're worried when people get injured, and as part of our sport policy, there will be insurance coverage for our national sportsmen. So I think we were able to put that to them. As it relates to agriculture, it is evident that there is no focus on agriculture by the government. We have said to them, we will return agricultural assistance so that they can help them with agriculture. We'll ensure there is adequate drainage and irrigation. And we also said to them that we will become involved in helping them to modernize agriculture and to make it less tedious so that they could benefit. They also complain that they produce a lot of products. For example, they had a lot of pumpkin that was wasted. And they were asking about market. But I said to them, yes, we look at market, but you also have to look at storage facility so that you can get it to different points of the country. You see, the government does not think through things. In these things, you need production, you need a plan for storage, and a plan for distribution or marketing. And we will take that complete approach rather than this piecemeal thing. You know, when a government wants to have money for them individually, they can't put the resources that are needed into agriculture. We have said to them we're going to put the resources into agriculture so that the people could benefit, including hydroponics, aqua, and all of those things. Here, this is an area where we had trained people while I was presidential advisor in apiculture, and some of them began to produce honey and their other byproducts. We will do more of those programs, and I said to them that they will be part of our hinterland development program, and that really and truly we need to look towards a road that can ensure that people get easy into the village and out of the village in this modern era. So it has to become part of our road network to help increase access. Because even with that, you stand a better chance of getting your produce to market. Farm to market road is necessary.
Welcome back. You all see all those kids playing there? You see anyone of them got on green? You know, and you're forcing them to sit down and listen and make up numbers in the audience. Let kids be kids. Let kids be kids. While we were in Baracara, those kids were outside running and having a fantastic time. Kids being kids, you gotta sit down and listen to somebody like Zulfikar Mustafa. Done boring naturally. You gotta sit down and listen to his nonsense. My God. My God. Couple of things we want to shoot at you folks before we let you all go. Oh my God. Man, I'm gonna let people cheering. Let people cheering alone. Please and thank you. Couple of things you're following for. Trump. Trump is Trump. A judge has blocked Trump A judge, yeah, blocked Trump's rule barring migrants at the U.S. border from claiming asylum. Right? You can't just do things willy nilly. That's the kind of free fall the PUP in, And we saw recently the Supreme Court in the U.S. try to limit what some of these courts can do. That they don't have this broad mandate to make a ruling that affects the Trump administration nationally. We saw some of that recently, so we got to see how this is going to fare when it's challenged further. But saying that you can't stop people from seeking asylum at the border. This is what this judge in particular has been saying, and then we following this positive turn of events. In a sense, this Guyanese man who was convicted wrongfully now claimed of murder in the U.S. after 36 years. When God is for you, no man can be against you for 36 years. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Watching all to see if he turns around and sues his state. We saw something like that quite recently in Jamaica. A fellow was in prison for close to 50 years in Jamaica without a trial. Watching that. Thoughts and prayers with this fella. 36 years wrongfully accused. Only a boy. Nonetheless, he worried about the wrong things, Totally worried about the wrong things. And that is why they got the kind of trouble in the campaign that they got currently trying to regain the footing. The first thing, they should have been the man at the top. This fella get more votes and all them put together in those internal elections. You know what I said? And they'll stand up and watch them rig the thing, Watch them rig that thing against him. But loyalty's party, he ain't stepping out. You think he want to become a footnote in history? Biding the time. But how much time? And we got some of y'all here a couple of days. Yeah, go with who y'all like and who y'all like and running over someplace and going out. This man watch people wrong he in the party. But he would rather be wronged in the party and in power than wrong in the party and out of power. I better learn this thing. You think he worried about some great conscience or something, and oh my God, I will go where I'm needed and appreciated. But look at the way out of that nonsense, eh? Come where you're appreciated. This man got more votes than all of them put together in the last internal election. He wants to rig the thing. Kwame now getting more votes than Nandalal. Can you imagine that? And he still shut up. Seeing Irfan president, knowing he brighter than Irfan, he more popular than Irfan. Right? But he rather be 10th on a list in the party and in power than you first on the list and you're in opposition. Some of y'all better learn, but y'all so giddy, y'all don't want to slow down, y'all don't want to calm down and learn nothing. Y'all think the first thing that pops into your head is the right thing. No. Y'all ain't learning nothing. Soon as I meet somebody and I like them, let's say it's a girl. I meet a girl and I like her. I know she wrong for me. I know she wrong for me. I make bad decisions. It's like that. That's why my wife like me first. And all through UG years, I focus on the books as I know if I look at I can make the wrong decision. She like me first. Then she come and hustle me. I say, all right, man, I got some time now, finish your studies and so on. Let me try and see. I sorry for shaking a chance. But I know if it's me naturally, I make the first move. That's a wrong decision. Right? Because I make wrong decisions like that. But tell me, I don't learn nothing day in, day out. It's who you spare check. It's who you like all this kind of foolishness. The man see people wrong in the party. Rig the thing against it. Kwame getting higher vote than a Nandalal. Alright, I can get the thing and say, Nanlal's a fairly bright fella. Fairly bright fella. He said a couple foolishness, do a couple foolish things anytime. Right? But who hasn't? Who hasn't? But you can tell me, Irfan can beat out. Why do you think Jagdi rather Irfan? You know the whole thing top to bottom. Why you think Jagdi rather Irfan? Because the Nandlal will done put you to pasture. And then the lull, but it don't put jag out to pasture for actually go write the book that they see you want to write and sell to politics. They don't put you out to pasture. But you see when I went I flood university like when I went I flood university, but he worked no, he's come out because he has to do it to defend the indefensible. Right? This cricket fella here, endorsement of Ali and all of the international rules of cricket said cricket and politics don't mix like oil and water. Don't do it. It don't mix. Right? It don't mix. Now he gotta do what he gotta do. He gotta run out. He gotta say no, bop, 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 to maintain the endorsement. But he know it's wrong. Right? But he's biding his time. But how much time does he have? He's biding it nonetheless. You see? Again, he rather be 15th on the party list and he in power than he's second, first on the list. But you're outside. You're going to learn. But as I said, focus on the wrong thing. Look, we should be focused on. Now we're telling us. Sex offenders database, it's advancing. 5 years in, what have you done? What have you done? You know? Some little tweak here, tweak there to legislation. Right? Nothing breathtaking, you could say. Some huge advance, some jurisprudence expanded. What have you? Little nips and tucks. Tucks and nips. What have you done? The thing that should got you focused and the attention, you're not worried about that. Right? You're not worried about that. Maybe that's why they Kwame making a mess of you. But look the PPP Guyana. Look the anachronism, the contradictions. Cop arrested over illicit gun and ammo. The cop is usually be doing the arrest of those persons. But this country now, in PPP Guyana, the 3,700 of you watching us live, the 242 emojis. The whole thing upside down, back to front, because them buys in power. Ball on the ballot. We gotta change this nonsense. To be a policeman in some countries is a high honor and a privilege. And you say you got one or two bad eggs, but to God, the amount of bad eggs, the amount of gang eggs we got in this country here, in government, in the police force. Kids. When you hear a kid come home and say, I want to be police, I say, stop nonsense. I rebuke the devil. Look at this. The Kenesha Van story. Young, beautiful lady, life cut short. Too soon. You know, like a comet. The song says, blazing across the evening sky. Gone too soon. Now the case has been adjourned until July 10th. Let it be justice. Let it be justice. Let it be justice for Kenesha Van. Justice for Adriana Young. My God. See, the country kills we young people. Kill out we young people. Justice for the Henry boys, Isaiah, Joel. Justice. My God. Quentin Bacchus. Justice. Harris Singh. Justice. Let it be justice. Just want to share a couple of things that making the news. Watch this. Moses in the tail. Moses in the tail. Defending the indefensible, this government. They know they have done nothing with sugar. They know 5 years. The promise of all the sugar estates from Diamond right through. From Diamond right through the day close. Wales the day close. What has been done in 5 years? Folks, in 5 years, we have not produced a pound of sugar at profitability. A pound of sugar, and Moses calling it like it is, and the vex. Gau, that should be defending sugar workers, they're defending the government. Nonsense. And a man that Moses served with, like David Granger, to hear them say that, oh, Granger would endorse them. Really pass, you know. They would endorse them. You know, listen to Mr. Norton speak to this issue quite recently. Take a look. Norton in the tail. Norton in the tail. Take a look and take a listen, folks. The APNU presidential candidate, APNU coalition presidential candidate, Aubrey Norton.
Leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, feels that Vice President Barra Jagdeo may be suffering from a mental disorder.
Why would he suggest that David Granger was wrong to endorse the party that David Granger was a member of and a leader in? It is a contemptuousness that characterizes this spin doctor.
Norton said that Jagdeo is of the view that former President David Granger should endorse President Irfan Ali. He said that he knows of no programming being pursued by President Ali that would cause David Granger to endorse Ali.
A Heroes Highway which you're fixing in less than 2 years? That is what you want to be endorsed? 40% of our resources going to corruption? If it is one thing you can say about Granger, he was never accused of being involved in corruption. Why would he endorse a political party that is the summit of corruption in this country and probably in the Caribbean?
He said that the vice president wants Granger to endorse an individual who can't build a proper road.
Do you want him to endorse a man who cannot build a proper road that causes a Secretary of State to embarrass Guyana by calling it Concussion Road? That is what should be endorsed. Do you want him to endorse a government that covers up the murder of an 11-year-old child? Do you want him to endorse a police force, a government that controls a police force, that covers crime, that refuses to give an autopsy report to either the family or other professionals who can look at it? That is what Jagdeo is asking people to Granger to endorse.
He said that there is no similarity between what the PPP is doing and what Granger did in office.
David Granger pursued. David Granger sought to develop, ensure school children had access to transportation to go to school. Buses, boats, bicycles. Barra Jagdeo and his puppet Irfan Ali, they come and got all the buses parked all over their place while the children are punishing to go to school. Do you want him to endorse this inept regime that does not have the interests of the people at heart and are prepared to put millions and billions of dollars in the likes of critic hands?
Beat and teach, folks. Beat and teach. And there's where we're going to leave it tonight. Thanks for joining us, folks. Please and thank you. Let me go. Onessa Wardine, Eon, Iban, Alson, Alicia, and all you fantastic folks who are joining us. Sunday the 6th, folks. Sunday the 6th is the day. Square of the Revolution. Sunday the 6th, the APNU Coalition campaign launch. And then the 14th is nomination day. What day that's going to be. The 14th is it, folks. The 14th. Titis. Great to have you on the live tonight, folks. Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button. Partner with us too. Please and thank you so we can keep on. Keep on. That's the time for tonight. Jason Benjamin, blessings on you too. Leston, Carlton, Allison, Diane Graves, and all you beautiful folks there. Jamal Aziz, Jacqueline, Lennox, Cecile. Good to have you. Shelley. We see you there, Shelley. We see you as well. Penelope, Quasi, Bernice, Sister Mercy, Mavis, Carlin. Yeah, all of you. That's our time tonight, and that's our program.
Time to remove the Guyana. This is it. The launch of the APNU Coalition campaign on Sunday, July 6th on the Square of the Revolution from 4 p.m. Come meet our candidates. Come out and hear about our people-centered development strategy that puts people first. Come hear from our Prime Ministerial candidate, Jurita Fernandez, our presidential candidate, Aubrey C. Norton, and others. On Sunday, July 6th from 4 p.m., the Square of the Revolution will vibrate with a people-powered campaign. APNU, putting people first.
We ready, time to remove the curse. I'm feeling it now.